Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a truth that hits harder than any failure ever could. Time is the only thing you can never get back. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose friends and find new ones. But once a moment is gone, it's gone. Every second that slips through your fingers is a second of potential you can't retrieve. Now ask yourself, how much time have you wasted? And more importantly, how much more are you willing to throw away? Time is the most valuable currency we possess, even more precious than money, assets, or fame. Unlike material wealth, which can be lost and regained, time only moves in one direction. Once it's gone for good. No amount of wealth, power, or influence can buy back even a single moment. That makes time not just valuable, but irreplaceable. We often underestimate its importance until it's too late. We waste hours, days, even years in indecision, procrastination, or chasing things that don't really matter, forgetting that every tick of the clock is a moment closer to the end of our story. In the world we live in today, we're constantly bombarded with distractions. Notifications, entertainment, and convenience tempt us to trade hours of our lives for momentary pleasures. And often we give in without realizing the long-term cost. We scroll, we binge, we delay, we say things like, "I'll do it tomorrow," without the guarantee that tomorrow will come. The truth is, time doesn't stop just because we do. It doesn't wait for us to get ready, feel motivated, or have the perfect plan. It keeps moving, and either we move with it or we get left behind. Think of every minute like a coin in your pocket. You can spend it on something that builds your future, or you can throw it away on something that disappears instantly. The difference between people who achieve greatness and those who don't is not talent, luck, or opportunity. It's how they spend their time. Some invest their hours into learning, improving, building relationships, chasing goals. Others spend that same time complaining, hesitating, or drifting through life with no direction. Let me give you a simple but powerful example. Imagine two young men graduating college at the same time. They both have similar intelligence, similar degrees, and even start with the same job opportunity. But one of them wakes up each day with purpose. He uses his free hours to read, to plan, to work on his side goals, to network, to grow. The other spends his evenings binge watching shows, going out aimlessly, and telling himself he'll get serious next month. Fast forward 5 years, one is thriving. He's moved up, maybe started his own business, built discipline and confidence. The other, still stuck, wondering why life feels like it's passing him by. The difference? It wasn't fate, it wasn't luck, it was time management. It was understanding the true value of time and choosing to respect it. When you treat time like it's cheap, your life starts to reflect that mindset. Missed opportunities, shallow progress, lingering frustration, all of it is the result of poor choices made over time. But when you treat time like the treasure it is, everything begins to shift. You start saying no to things that don't serve you. You stop wasting energy on drama, negativity, or delay. You become intentional, focused, driven, not because you're perfect, but because you know every minute counts. In the end, your time is your life. How you spend it is who you become. Every day, you're either building something meaningful or watching potential slip through your hands. Don't wait for a wake-up call. Don't wait until you've lost time to realize what it was worth. Make the decision now. Spend your time wisely, because it's the most important investment you will ever make. Discipline over distractions is one of the most important principles for anyone who wants to achieve something meaningful. In a world filled with noise, convenience, and endless scrolling, distractions are more accessible than ever. It's not just about wasting time. It's about how these distractions slowly steal your potential, your focus, and your future. Every time you choose a distraction over discipline, you're making a silent decision to delay your dreams. And over time, those small choices build up into a life of unfulfilled potential. We often think that motivation is what we need to move forward. But motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather. One moment you feel like working, the next you don't. If you rely on motivation to carry you through, you'll be waiting more than you're working. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is the ability to push forward even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's putting in the work when no one's watching. It's choosing what you need to do over what you want to do. Distractions, on the other hand, are comfortable. They're easy. Scrolling through your phone, binge watching a show, gossiping, procrastinating, all of it feels good in the moment. But comfort is a silent killer. It whispers to you that you can start tomorrow, that one more hour won't hurt, that everyone else is doing it too. But tomorrow turns into next week. 1 hour turns into a day. And before you know it, you've lost weeks, months, maybe even years, chasing comfort instead of chasing your purpose. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's not that you'll never get distracted, it's that you learn how to pull yourself back, how to refocus, how to protect your time like it's sacred. Because it is. When you build discipline, you build character, you build resilience, you build habits that serve your future self. It's like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. And over time, discipline becomes your new normal. It becomes who you are. Let's take a simple example. Imagine two students preparing for the same final exam. One sets a schedule, sticks to it, and studies for 2 hours each night. The other plans to study, but each night they get caught up in video games and social media. They tell themselves, "I'll start tomorrow." But tomorrow never comes. On exam day, one walks in with confidence. The other walks in with regret. That difference wasn't talent. It wasn't intelligence. It was discipline. One chose long-term gain over short-term pleasure. The other didn't. And that's the truth of it. Discipline is a choice. Every day you're faced with that choice. Distractions or discipline. Your success doesn't depend on how you feel, it depends on what you choose. Distractions will always be there. They don't go away. But neither does your dream. And your dream is waiting for you to fight for it. So ask yourself, what's more important, feeling good for a moment or building a life that makes you proud? Every time you choose discipline, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Don't let distractions write your story. You've got too much potential for that. Make the hard choice now, so you can live the life you truly want later. That's the power of discipline. Purpose doesn't wait for the perfect time, and the truth is, the perfect time doesn't exist. People often say they're waiting to feel ready, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for things to calm down. But what they don't realize is that waiting becomes a habit. It turns into a lifestyle. You blink and a year has passed. You blink again and you're older, but not closer to where you want it to be. Purpose is not patient. It's not going to sit around and wait for you to gather your courage or organize your schedule. It demands urgency. It calls on you to act even when you're uncertain, uncomfortable, or scared. Too often people mistake preparation for procrastination. They convince themselves they need more time to plan, to think, to align the stars. But life doesn't work like that. Progress comes from motion, not meditation. You learn by doing. You grow through movement. You don't figure everything out by standing still. You figure things out by taking that first bold step into the unknown. The people who succeed aren't always the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who move. They act when others hesitate. They show up even when it's inconvenient. They don't wait to feel confident. They act and confidence catches up. When you operate with a sense of urgency, you stop giving energy to distractions. You become ruthless about your time. You don't entertain every invitation or every voice trying to pull you away from your mission. You learn to say no, not because you're rude or distant, but because you understand your purpose matters more than your comfort. Urgency gives your life structure. It turns days into stepping stones instead of wasted hours. It helps you stop living in a cycle of one day and start living in the power of right now. Think about this. Someone out there with fewer resources, less education, and more obstacles is making progress right now simply because they decided to start. They didn't wait for clarity. They didn't wait to feel fearless. They just moved. And every step they take builds momentum. That momentum turns into progress, and progress builds belief. Before they know it, they're running toward their goal while others are still sitting around wondering when to begin. Let me give you an example. Imagine a young woman named Erica. She dreams of starting her own business, a small online shop selling handmade candles. For years, she tells herself she needs more experience, more money, better branding, a bigger following on social media. Every time she gets close to launching, she pulls back. She's afraid of failure, afraid she won't get it right. So she waits. She watches videos. She takes notes, but she doesn't move. One day, her friend, who knows nothing about candles but has a passion for baking, starts a cookie business with just a simple phone camera and a few posts. It's not perfect, but it's real, and it starts gaining traction. Erica realizes something powerful done is better than perfect, so she finally launches. No big fanfare, just a quiet post with her first few candles and a link to buy. Within a week, she makes her first sale. It isn't life-changing money, but it's proof that purpose rewards action. Erica's story is a reminder that purpose doesn't wait. And when you stop waiting, when you start treating your dream like it matters today, not next week, not next year, you begin to live with power. Because purpose moves, and so should you. You think effort is hard? Try regret. That simple sentence holds a weight most people don't understand until it's too late. We often view effort as something painful, something to avoid. Waking up early, grinding day after day, staying focused when distractions are easier and more fun, that's effort. And yes, it's hard, but the reality is regret is much harder. Effort is temporary. It's uncomfortable in the moment, but it passes. Regret lingers. It echoes. It wakes you up at 3 a.m. whispering, "You could have done more. You should have tried harder." It doesn't just hurt. It haunts. The moments you waste now are the ones you'll wish you could get back later, and that's a pain that can last a lifetime. See, we're conditioned to avoid difficulty. We seek comfort. We delay. We say, "I'll start tomorrow," without realizing how many times we've said that same sentence before. But time doesn't care about your delay. The world keeps turning. Opportunity keeps moving. And while you're sitting still talking about what you'll do someday, someone else is out there turning effort into progress. One day you'll look around and see them living the life you dreamed about, not because they were more talented, but because they were willing to suffer through the effort you avoided. Let me give you a real example. There was a young man with dreams of being a writer. He had the talent. People told him so all the time. He would write small pieces here and there, but he never took it seriously. He thought, "I've got time. One day I'll write that novel." So he spent years scrolling, going out, wasting time. He chose comfort over commitment. And then one day, 10 years had passed. His peers, people with less raw talent but more discipline, were publishing books, speaking on stages, living the life he wanted. And he had nothing but journals full of unfinished stories and a heavy ache in his chest called regret. That man wasn't lazy. He was afraid of the effort it would take. But in the end, he learned the truth. Effort is a short-term sacrifice. Regret is a lifelong burden. He started writing again, eventually, but not without the bitter taste of what he could have already accomplished had he just pushed through the discomfort. That story could be any of us. All of us have something we're delaying, a dream we're deferring. We convince ourselves that we have time, but the clock is always ticking. The problem isn't that we're incapable. The problem is that we think we can wait without consequences. But every day wasted adds up, and regret, it compounds like interest. So don't be fooled. The choice is never between effort and ease. The real choice is between short-term pain and long-term regret. One builds you, the other breaks you. Effort demands something from you today, but regret takes everything from you tomorrow. The good news, you can choose effort right now. You can decide, this moment, that you're done with delays, done with excuses, that you're going to do the hard things, push through the resistance, and keep moving forward. Because no matter how hard it is today, it'll never hurt as much as looking back and wishing you had started when you had the chance. So put in the work, make the sacrifice, feel the burn of effort now, because the fire of regret burns far worse. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's a message that cuts deeper than most people want to admit. We live in a world full of planners, dreamers, and talkers. People love to talk about what they're going to do someday. They've got vision boards, color-coded calendars, to-do lists that could stretch across the room. But what they don't have is momentum. They're stuck at the starting line, hyping themselves up for a race they never actually begin. The truth is, ideas are cheap, execution is everything. You can have the most brilliant plan in the world, but if you don't get up and take the first step, it stays a dream. And the world isn't moved by dreams alone, it's moved by those who act. It's easy to fall in love with potential. It's safe. It gives you the illusion of progress. But what it really does is keep you stagnant. You can convince yourself that just thinking about your goals, or preparing to take action, is the same as doing something. It's not. Preparation has its place, but it can't become your permanent home. At some point you have to stop rehearsing and start performing. That means showing up even when it's uncomfortable, when you don't feel ready, when fear is screaming in your ear. Because the truth is, nobody ever feels completely ready. Waiting for the stars to align perfectly is another form of procrastination, dressed up as wisdom. Real growth happens when you're in motion. Progress demands friction, pressure, even failure. But those experiences only come to people who are willing to get in the game. You can't win a race you never run. You can't build a business you never launch. You can't develop talent you never train. What separates successful people from everyone else isn't that they had the best plan. It's that they moved, they acted, they tried, and in trying they learned. In learning they got better. But it started with that first, sometimes awkward, sometimes uncertain step. Let's take an example. Think about someone who's always wanted to be a writer. They've read all the writing books, listened to all the podcasts, bought a premium notebook, and even took a class or two. Every time you meet them, they tell you about this amazing book idea they had. You believe them. You believe the story would be powerful, if only they'd write it. But they never do. Years pass, and they're still talking about that book. Meanwhile, someone else, with half the knowledge, and none of the polish, sat down every day, and wrote a page. That person finished a rough draft, then edited it, then published it. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. It existed. And because they acted, they gave themselves a chance to improve. That's the difference between a dreamer and a doer. You don't need to know every step before you start walking. Clarity often comes through motion, not before it. Action reveals answers. Action builds confidence. Action creates opportunity. The first draft of anything, whether it's a novel, a business, or a better version of yourself, will never be perfect. But perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. And you can't have progress without motion. So stop waiting. Stop talking. Stop pretending you need more time.
more certainty, more validation. You don't. What you need is the courage to begin. Don't talk about it, be about it. Get up, move, and trust that the rest will follow.